Oh, hey. What's going on? Shinko in the chat writes the following. Big day in Leafland. Is Sid coming in on the Optimistic Express? Or the 12 o'clock to Negative Town? Well, I can say this, and then in 3 minutes I'll give you your answer. No one, and I mean no one, saw this train coming.
It's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K,
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
You are now listening to The Sid Seixeiro Show. Powered by Sick Media, the sickest Toronto sports show. Now, here's your host, Sid.
What's up? It's Sid. Wednesday, June the 17th. Been quite the week. We're live on X, Facebook, YouTube. Here's the deal. We're going to do kind of a normal show between now and about 12:45 p.m. Eastern. We're going to stop that show. 5 minutes later, we're going to come up and we're going to live stream the entire Portugal DR Congo World Cup match from Houston. Azo and I will be with you the entire game as we watch Cristiano Ronaldo try and score 7 goals today after Messi's hat trick. So that's coming up. So that's what we're going to do. Quick story. One of my favorite TV shows of all time, and I know I'm not alone in this, is The Sopranos. The performance from James Gandolfini, the late James Gandolfini in The Sopranos, and everyone else in that phenomenal cast goes down in television history. I know it wasn't everyone's cup of tea, But most people who saw 1, 2, 3 episodes couldn't leave it. It was that good. It was about power and influence and family and relationships and a lot of violence. And in our society over the last 25 years, checks all the boxes on what sells on television and streaming. But eventually all shows kind of come to an end, as we saw yesterday with Hockey Night in Canada on the CBC. And after 6 seasons, The Sopranos were coming to an end, and everyone was wondering, how do you do this? Like, there's been this slow march with Tony Soprano and his family and the power and the mob and kind of who controls what. And Tony's been walking a tightrope here for a while. You didn't know what was going to happen. All this buildup, all this suspense, all this conversation. What was going to happen? And in the final scene, it's Tony Soprano. Spoiler alert. It's Tony Soprano and Carmela and the kids getting together just to have some pizza at a diner. And the creator of The Sopranos, David Chase, works very hard to show you there are like 7 people in that bar that have ill intentions. And Tony's kind of scoping the place. And I believe the song is Don't Stop Believin' by Journey in the back. Right, Azzo? It was Don't Stop Believin'. Thank you. And it shows Tony looking up. Scene cuts dead. Series done. Series is over. You have to figure out what just happened. Some people were okay with it. A lot of the people were like, sorry, we went through all of that? We went through all of that for this ending? We went through all of that for this ending. The majority of people, I know there's some nuanced, artsy, fartsy folks who loved it, and it's about the violence, and it's about the threat of violence, which was overshadowing the whole show, which I understood to a certain extent, but also it did leave you wanting. Like there was, I watched something on The Office, and they said before Jim proposed to Pam at the gas station, there was talk of not even playing the audio of that proposal. Like they wanted to kind of keep it at the periphery and kind of leave the audience out of it. But then saner heads prevailed and they let you hear Jim propose to Pam. You can't just bring people to a certain point and then it's a dud. That's not smart. But The Sopranos was like the ultimate one of those. People were expecting fireworks from creator David Chase about how The Sopranos was going to end. And everyone was like, it was kind of interesting, but it was like too many questions. How did they get here? How did they get to that conclusion? I woke up this morning and like a lot of Leaf fans, I felt like I watched the finale of The Sopranos. A long buildup to finding the next head coach of the Leafs, and everyone's left asking, how? We're all in the diner looking around hearing Journey play, and we're all going, how did we get to this conclusion in this drama? I remind you, the person who told us they were speaking to 50 head coaching candidates before landing on the one they landed on today was John Chaika at the Combine a couple of weeks ago. He said like 50 people were approached. 50! Do you know what number is a lot when you're searching for a coach? 50! And all the names the insiders throw. By the way, what the hell's going on with insiders in this country? No one saw this coming. So after John Chaika tells you we're talking to 50 names and Matt Sundin's running shotgun and you're like, well, this can't go horribly. Even some of the names with no experience are half interesting to people like Joe Pavelski. Okay, maybe I can get on board with the next Martin St. Louis. No problem. Today we saw the series finale. The Toronto Maple Leafs announced they hired Jim Hiller, 41st head coach in franchise history. Jim Hiller, as a head coach in this league, has done nothing but disappoint. Nothing. On top of never hearing Jim Hiller's name mentioned in the ether of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Your first memory of Jim Hiller as a head coach is laughable. They had to bring in DJ Smith to clean up his mess this past season in Los Angeles with the Kings. That's how bad Jim Hiller was. Couldn't beat the Oilers in consecutive first rounds. And now out of nowhere, seemingly out of nowhere, RKO out of nowhere, Jim Hiller just said night-night to Leafs Nation and is the new head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, how did this happen? Is there some history here between Hiller and the Leafs and Chaika? The answer is yes and yes. The obvious answer is he was an assistant in this town for 4 years under Mike Babcock. Hey, Leafs PR, when you're sending out the press release, don't be overly proud of the Mike Babcock years. Read the room on Babcock. The day after Mitch Marner's talking about mental health. And I know he's talking about a lot of things in that yesterday, but read the room a little bit, Leafs PR. Do yourself a favor. Maybe not the most proud thing right now to be associated with Mike Babcock. The other connection between the new head coach of the Maple Leafs, Jim Hiller, and John Chaika is back in 2020. John Chaika, when he was running the Coyotes as like an 18-year-old, did have an interview with Jim Hiller once about an assistant coaching position. See, this is why you take those interviews, guys. I don't care if you think you're going to get the job or not. You never know what impression you might make on someone. You have no idea. So there is like a little connection between John Chaika, GM of the Leafs, and Jim Hiller, the new head coach. But I am puzzled today. I'm not going to lie to you. I am puzzled at this. One of the biggest questions I'm asking myself today is, I want to ask any Leaf fan listening or watching this, what did you hate the most about the Craig Berube era? Just take 10 seconds. Take 10 seconds. What did you hate the most? Was it low event hockey? Is that what you didn't like? Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it at times either. Was it dump and chasing constantly when your team wasn't fully capable of doing that? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that either. Was it a general defensive mindset that put a lot of pressure on your goalies and got to the point where it exposed a blue line that wasn't good enough and made last year one of the worst in decades with the Toronto Maple Leafs? All of those things with Craig Berube. Did you not like all of those things? Well, that's interesting. Because the Leafs just hired a guy who basically was that guy with the Kings. Same guy. Same guy. Less of a resume. Same guy. Less forehead scars. Same guy. Ask any Kings fan watching that team play for the last 3 seasons. By the way, Jim Hiller only coached 1 season with the Kings full. His first season, Todd McClellan got fired. He took over. Coached the second season full, couldn't beat the Oilers in the first round again, and got fired in his third. DJ Smith was the better option for the Kings. DJ Smith. Then the new head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who did the same garbage that Berube did up here. He just got hired. And he just walked into an office with Chaika, told him all the analytical BS he wanted to hear, and got the job. That's how you play the game. That's how you play the game. You lie. You lie about how you would coach a team. That is not how he coached that team in LA. That was the most boring hockey team I've ever. How many overtime games did the Kings have last year? I think it was a record, right? It was a record. No risk. Defense, low event, dump and chase. Where the hell have you heard that before? The guy just got fired for that in this town. But no, Jim Hiller's more analytical than that. Really? 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 He's not more analytical. He's cheaper. MLSC, once again, whether it's John Schneider or Darko Rajakovic, they're not paying for coaches anymore, especially having to pay 2 more years for Berube. He was the cheap option that they kind of knew. Cut the BS. He was cheap, and they brought him in. The same reason John Schneider was brought in, the same reason Darko Rajakovic was brought in. This organization is never spending a dime on a coach again. Ever. Ever. They owe Berube another $9 million. You think Peter Laviolette just walked away from the Leafs by accident? No, they squeezed him. Same way they squeezed Wah, same way they squeezed all these guys who actually have a resume. Wah won a Coach of the Year once. Laviolette's got a cup. Jay Woodcroft. Jay Woodcroft was in a Western Final with an organization that is insane in the Edmonton Oilers. They're nuts. Toronto kid dying for this job. Dying for it. Jim Hiller is the new head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. You are crowing from the mountaintop. You're speaking to 50 names. You're the Toronto Maple Leafs. There is no cap on coaches. There is no cap on GMs. You've just walked into a Ferrari dealership and a Lexus dealership, and you've come out with a couple of K cars. That's what you just did. This brand is in the toilet if that's your GM and head coach. The toilet. And you know it. And you know it. This is pathetic what went on in this coaching search, considering the experience and the potential that was on the table. Pathetic. Pathetic. 50 interviews. My ass. You probably talked to 50 interviews. And this is where you end up? This is where you end up. With a guy who claims to be analytical but played the exact same system as Berube in LA. You got duped on that. Great job, Leafs. Great job, John Chaika. You got duped on that. We might as well start the conversation on who the next Leafs head coach is going to be. Because this is not going to last. There are Kings fans rolling over in laughter today at this. They are rolling through the aisles on this news. You had Jay Woodcroft sitting there with experience. You go with Jim Hiller, who coached 1 full season with the Kings because he was that bad? You okay? You okay, bro? Here's the other clear thing. The Leafs do believe they have to make the playoffs next year. We've been waiting for this sign about, are they really going to kind of start to rebuild here or still worry about 3 home playoff dates? Well, guess what? Guess what? The one thing you can say about Jim Hiller is he'll get you to the playoffs. They'll get boat raced when they get there, so he's the perfect Leafs head coach. Perfect. He was built in a Leafs head coach factory. Outstanding. Outstanding. The thing that bothers me the most, though, is something I cannot ignore, and it's happened again in this town. When Jim Hiller was an assistant coach, kind of running the power play back in the Mike Babcock era. Leafs are very proud of the Mike Babcock era, by the way. Yeah, I'm sure Jim Hiller didn't see anything going on behind the scenes. Nothing. Sure he saw nothing. Jim Hiller, while running the power play, in 2015-16, it was a bad hockey team. They were 28th in the league. 2016-17, Leafs had the second best power play in the league. 2017-18, second best power play in the league. 2018-19, they dipped a little, not much. They were 8th. Jim Hiller had a really good power play in this town. And he's a player's coach, based on everything you've heard. There was a lot of good cop, bad cop, it sounds like, with Mike Babcock and Jim Hiller. There is no way the Leafs don't run this hiring by Matthews and Nylander. There's no way. And why is it Auston Matthews and William Nylander would like Jim Hiller as a head coach? Because he's the fun power play guy. Now, again, I'm getting a lot of mixed messages on who exactly Jim Hiller is as a head coach. Because tape on the LA Kings is readily available. Go watch it. That was Berube light. I find it hard to believe it's going to be a track meet at Scotiabank Arena this year with Gavin McKenna and who else is on that team. But apparently Nylander and Matthews enjoyed having him around. And once again, this organization is doing something to make Auston and Willie happy. When will they ever learn? Do you think Austin's going to re-sign because Jim Hiller's here? Really? You really think that's going to happen? You think that's the clincher? Really? I remember a time where the Leafs got the top people. Now, it didn't always work. I'll be the first to admit. It didn't always work. I think there are a lot of reasons for that. But my problem is, if you're going to really go off the board with John Chaika, and you're going to really go off the board with Matt Sundin as an advisor, are you going to go this off the board with your coach too? Is everyone now off the board? Or is there some semblance of skill and reputation involved? You can make the argument the Leafs, after interviewing 50 people for their head coaching job, went with a guy they knew who Austin liked. What has this organization gotten in 10 plus years because Austin and Willie were happy? What have they gotten in return? I'm waiting for it. What have they gotten in return? Hometown discounts? Nope, that's not it. Conference final appearances? Nope, that's not it. I'm waiting. What have the Leafs gotten in this town because Austin and Willie were made happy? None of you can answer that. They sold jerseys. Keith Pelly said they weren't there to sell jerseys. They've sold some jerseys. Yeah, they have. Good for them. This is a pathetic hiring. I'm not for it. I cannot back it. And there's a lot of mixed signals as to what this guy is as a head coach. There are people screaming from the mountaintops he's analytically driven. That's not how the Kings looked at all. At all. I have no idea what the hell is going on here. None. I can make more sense of the Joseph Wall trade than this. I really can. If you're a Leaf fan and you're excited by this, I wish to be you in my next life. To be that blindly positive. Like, honestly. Jim Hiller coached 3 years with the Kings. Only one of them was a full year. Only one of them was a full year. They played some of the worst hockey in the league. You're telling me this guy's going to walk in here and be run and gun and be analytically driven and make Austin happy and get Willie on board? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing with this? Once again, Pelly has to kind of own this. The other thing, like, where the hell's Matt Sundin in this? I thought Matt Sundin was supposed to be the adult in the room. I thought he was the safety net. Apparently there's some holes in the net. Apparently we need to get a new net. Really concerned with that, by the way. Really concerned with that. How Matt Sundin's also in the room going, yeah, Jim Hiller. Love it. Love it. There were two choices in front of the Leafs based on what the insiders told us. Some decent experience and some interesting names with no experience. They went with a guy with a little bit of experience because he was awful. That's the guy they landed on. Not either side, the one in the mid, the mediocre middle. There's a chant in soccer that fans will hurl at a coach or team who's going through a really hard time of it. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. That's the chant. Leaf fans, whether you care about this or not, it's a reality. There's two things that were confirmed today. One, the Leafs are not a great job for anybody. If this was your best option. The best people want no part of this. And two, the rest of the league's laughing at you. And they've been laughing at you for a while. You good with that? You good with that? Chaika, this, you good with that? All right. And some of you might say, hey, people were laughing at Carolina for a long time. True. True. I don't see a Brindamore behind the bench for the Leafs, do you? I don't. It's sad they landed on this name after that long of a search. It looks low level, it looks unprofessional, and it looks like you're not ready for prime time as an executive. And guess what? Most of them are inexperienced. So maybe it comes with the territory. But any Leaf fan who loves it because of expected goals for percentages, you saw the one season with Jim Hiller with the King. Okay, we're here now. We're here now. Enjoy your expected goals for percentage. Enjoy it. 5-on-5 too. 5-on-5. Expected goals for percentage. You can revel in that all you want. This is crazy considering your options. This is crazy. That's the point. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you don't have pride in your organization, no one else will. Crazy. This is crazy. Azzo, good afternoon. Hey, this is crazy.
You stressed a little bit with the Portugal game today? Or
I'm less stressed about Portugal now and Congo than I am about the direction this is going.
It is kind of crazy.
This is so you want to make the playoffs next year, and you think Jim Hiller's the guy to get you there and lose in 5 and 6. Okay, what a plan.
Do you remember
what a plan by the Toronto Maple Leafs?
The playoff run he got with them? Do you remember what happened in that, though?
Remind me.
So the Kings were up 2-0 on the Oilers.
Oh, because they won both games in Edmonton. Yeah,
right.
yeah. I remember
and
that.
then in the third game, they were winning 4-3, I believe, and he challenged. He had a really
He had the bad challenge, yeah.
And it turned the whole series around. And then Edmonton won that game, I believe, 7-4, and then went on to win the next 4 straight.
And there were several times in both those postseasons where he was like, "Oh, we have a 1-goal lead." Everyone behind the puck. It was
Yeah.
pure Berube.
Yeah.
Everyone
You're
behind
right.
the puck.
Bad cough ups and yeah. When
But
you can't play
I'm
it-
seeing people online telling me, "Well, he's analytically driven." My ass, he's analytically driven.
He started an analytic company, didn't he? What was it called?
Sure,
True
he did. And
Performance?
guess what?
So you know what's better than one analytic company? Two analytic
companies.
between him and Chaika. So
Guess what,
whatever.
Azo? 30 minutes ago, I just started an analytics company. I just did it
It
too.
was a video
It's
tracking
great.
company.
It's a tracking. We can track the puck and do all kinds of
It
fun things.
provided detailed
It's great.
breakdowns of player performance.
It's great.
It's funny because this is like off the board, but not in the direction I thought they were going to go off the board. It's insane to me. It's a let's be honest, it's a safety hire by the organization, which none of us was, because there's familiarity with the organization.
They do
There's
know him.
familiarity.
They do know him.
with
During,
Austin.
during the Babcock era, by the
Right,
way.
right.
And those players
That's a
couldn't
great
wait.
point.
They couldn't wait for Babcock to leave town. Mm-hmm. Could not, all this core that's left, couldn't wait.
Yeah.
Jumping for joy when Sheldon Keefe walked through the door in Phoenix.
But it's a
Jumping for joy.
It's a familiarity with the organization, familiarity with the stars, Austin, Willie, and with Chaika as well. He knows them. They know them all. So to me, it's more a safety hire. And to your point earlier, it does indicate they're going straight for the retool and just.
And they're not paying him
to
a
make the
dime.
No,
they're not paying him anything, by
You
the
were
way.
bang on
Don't
that.
think that's not playing into this. All of a sudden, we got money to spend and we have this and we have that. BS. BS. From the top down, you're not paying anybody. Because we got to pay Berube another $9 million. So you left with Jim Hiller. Chris in the chat, this move makes me sick.
But this made me believe that Laviolette either turned him down or.
Oh, I think it was money with Laviolette.
100%.
When Kipper
were
says
ready
when
to hire
Kipper
him.
says he's under the impression Laviolette had the
Yeah.
job, something went wrong. You know what that was.
I agree.
It wasn't want from Laviolette. He did a podcast every 3 seconds in this town.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the head coach of this team, and they tried to screw him on money. Miggs in the chat, stop being so negative. Let this play out.
Okay,
We've let it play out. He's Berube. He's Berube.
Hey, if
Don't tell me he's analytically driven and run the team the way he ran it in L.A. Don't tell me that.
So what I'd say,
Don't
I think
do
it's-
that.
I think it's less inspiring than we had hoped. It's not inspiring
But
at all.
that's a key word, Azo, that a lot of people are kind of pointing to. This is a big moment for the team.
I agree.
You've brought in John Chaika. It's died down. It's a weird hire.
And it seemed to be moving with
It's
some
died
momentum.
down, and it was moving. I didn't
was
hate the Wall trade yesterday.
No. They got the number one pick. Like there was some momentum picking up here. And this seems like a step back.
It's about inspiration too.
Yes, 100%.
By the end of that season last year, a lot of the fan base hated that team's guts.
Yep.
Hated them.
Yeah. When Montreal hired Marty St. Louis, it inspired people.
Vestix in the chat. Calm down. He'll be gone by Christmas.
Well, one season anyway.
Man. Dominico in the chat. This is a fair question. If this was your team, Sid, who would you have hired? Jay Woodcroft. Young enough, can relate. He just was part of a coaching staff that dusted the Oilers. He still has some skill. Went to a Western Conference final as a head coach.
Yeah.
Toronto kid.
He's coached some stars. He knows
He's
how to
coached
deal with
stars.
Yeah, to me that's most important.
He's dealt with Canadian media.
But it would be new and inspiring. Like, okay.
I'm sorry. Woodcroft would give me a very different feel today. A very different feel
Totally
today.
agree. And to your point, being the first line is that he has familiarity with the organization, that he was an assistant coach under Babcock. Like, what? Really? That's supposed to be where you leave it?
There's Howard in the chat. Promote from within. I don't know if they look at John Gruden like that. By the way, the Marlies
They are friends. They work together at, where was it? They did work together.
Oh, sorry. You mean Jim Hiller?
Jim Hiller and Gruden.
Oh, there is
So
a
maybe
connection?
there is a connection.
Interesting.
They've worked
Okay.
together somewhere. Where did I see that?
Marlies are up 3-0, by the way, on Chicago in the Calder Cup.
So maybe he gets a step up and is able to.
He's definitely earned it, John Gruden, with the
Yeah,
Marlies.
for sure.
No doubt about it. Andrew in the chat. Doesn't matter. The Leafs are still going to sell out.
So they were both. It looks like
Maybe.
they were both assistants under Barry Trotz with the Islanders.
Oh, the Trotz Islanders thing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they were on the same coaching staff there, him and John Gruden.
And reportedly, Jim Hiller was only coming back as a head coach. Like he was telling people that.
Because he
Is
knows
that is that not insane?
That isn't. Well,
That you have one full season with the Kings
it's the Mike Gillis
One.
approach.
and you've been shown the door. It's the Mike Gillis thing.
It is 100%. And like your specialty seems to be the power play. They hired him as a power play coach. I'd be totally good with it.
Davey in the chat. Where did Azzo get the Messi shirt? Where'd you get the Messi shirt,
I don't know,
Azza?
just
Let him
at a
know. Go full
sports store.
screen. Go full
Oh,
screen. Let him
my
know.
goodness.
Let him know.
Yes.
Okay. Azza's wearing a Messi. Sorry, what's the back? Hold on. Let me see. It's Inter Miami.
Yeah, it's the same place I got the sweater, the Inter Miami sweater.
Okay.
That's S'il vous plaît store here in Toronto. Anyway.
Dougie in the chat. I was rooting for Torts.
Dude. But how many other coaches? Like, here's the thing. You made me make a list of 55 players. Sure, Jim Hiller would have been on it. Wouldn't have been
55 coaches.
The 55 coaches
Yeah.
they interviewed. I'm sure Jim Hiller would have been on it. Wouldn't have been anywhere near
the nerve of John Chaika to mention he spoke to that many people about the head coaching position of the Toronto Maple Leafs
gotta agree.
and land on Jim Hiller. The nerve. I'd prefer you told me you rushed the hire. That makes more sense to me. Don't forget, Keith Pelly said he talked to like 20, 25 people. John Chaika.
What's the guy? Yeah.
Oh my holy God.
How do you argue?
I'm floored.
It
As
is
I'm
weird.
floored. I don't know where to take this. I don't know what to make of it. Do we have any indication of when a press conference is happening?
I still haven't seen anything.
Why? A lot of why. Hey, Steve Simmons, Rosie, get back in that room. Why was Jim Hiller chosen? Why? I think I know why. They're not paying him anything. That's why, and they kind of know him.
It's safe.
That's your bar.
It's
That's
safe.
going to get you a cup in the city of Toronto. We knew him once. Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. We knew him once.
Yeah. It's safe. It's a safety.
It is kind of safe.
Totally.
is.
That's the one word. Uninspiring and safe would be my two words to describe this. hire.
Michael in the chat. Press conference will be a kickoff at 6
I was
p.m.
thinking
tomorrow
the same thing.
for Canada and Qatar.
Or at 5 o'clock. So some of the media can't get down there. It would be amazing.
Man. Well, listen, RJ in the chat, this is kind of what I'm talking about here. A reality check is in place here. Ever think no one really wanted the gig? RJ, as I'm trying to rationalize this in my head, as I'm trying to figure out what just took place, I'm going back to that more and more often. The Leafs' job is considered more of a joke now league-wide than it has been in my entire lifetime. And that's quite the development.
It really is.
That's quite the development. Look, John Chaika. How many coaches wanted to work for John Chaika? I don't know. Apparently, John Chaika was in a real hurry to tell us all these coaches wanted the job. Really? Or is that a bunch of BS?
And they just took.
Or is that a bunch of BS? Or is John Chaika just lying to us
but
through his teeth?
You can learn stuff in an interview process too. You pointed this out. Does this team know what direction they're going in? Because now they seem to be going back.
But they want to make the playoffs next year.
That's it.
It's what we suspected the whole time.
Well, what they told us.
But there was an element of me yesterday when Joseph Wall and that money was kind of freed up. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe they are kind of wanting to start something a little younger here.
And you mentioned it before. Seemed like they weren't bending Tostin, but this does bend Tostin and Willie. It's weird.
Can we get one thing in here before we leave? We're gonna wrap up this pod in about 7 minutes and then get ready for Portugal Congo for
Only
the
for
live
5
stream.
minutes. We'll be back quick.
So Mitch Marner did speak yesterday.
Yeah, we saw it right.
Mitch Marner mentioned before the finals were a lot of dark times in his career, and he was asked to elaborate. He said he would maybe after the playoffs are over. He elaborated yesterday in Vegas at Locker Cleanout, and it was interesting the road he went down. As I'm afraid the audio I found wasn't like the highest. If you can give it like a little bump off the front,
start?
just for the listening audience, for
Just
people
don't want it
watching.
to come in too high.
I think this is important. I'm going to move off this ludicrous hiring by the Toronto Maple Leafs and go to what Marner was kind of getting at. And I just want to add one thing on the back end of it. This was Mitch Marner yesterday in Vegas.
Which I'm not sure if now is probably the time you want to discuss it, but you said at Media Day about the dark times. Is there something you want to elaborate on that? And then if not, just how much did this room and this group kind of, I guess, eradicate those dark days you were going through?
Yeah. I think I just, when I said that, I think mental health is a super important thing to me. It really is. I've been really trying to take care of my mental health probably for the last 5 years or so. And I'm really thankful that I had some unbelievable teammates around me in Toronto that I was able to talk to, express myself. Again, like I said, my family, my brother, my mom, dad, my wife. There was some really dark moments there that the thought of playing hockey was just, really tough, honestly, in a lot of ways. Was just a dark kind of vibe, dark hole in a way. And I'm very thankful, like I said, that I had people around me, teammates that, asked me how I was doing and knew that I was going through something that I could talk to. So, I just think it's really important to always check in on your friends, your family, people around you, mental health. I think it's a thing that in this day of age now, it gets talked about, but I think still overlooked in a lot of ways. I think a lot of us, are addicted to the social media aspect of things. You're seeing a lot of comments, seeing a lot of things about yourself. I think, tried to check myself out of that in the last 2 or 3 years, really, just try to get off of it, try to get away from it. I think that's helped in a lot of ways, but yeah, I don't know. I think you always just you gotta be able to talk about it too. You gotta be, people want you around. That's what I always say. People want you in their life. You should never be afraid to talk about your emotions and talk about your fears and what you're going through. So, yeah, I'm super thankful that I had a lot of people in my life that I could, talk to and share things, and made me better.
There is a seriousness to that I don't even want to kind of venture. Like I picked up on something there that I don't even want to put out into the ether, so I'm going to keep that to myself. But that was a serious quote from Mitch. And I just want to focus on the social media aspect of it, because listen, it's not just I don't want to focus just on Mitch, because I've heard this of a lot of athletes in this town, and I'm sure it's no different in other sports cities across North America. There is an element of athletes nowadays. How do I phrase this? Like, friends and family believe it's their job to show you all the stuff going on social. I'm not at his level at all, obviously, but I got news for you. I've been a target on social media before, just so you know. And maybe I'm wired a little differently. I do ignore it easy to a point. If you want me to see something, I'll block your ass quick. But I ignore a lot of stuff. But there was a few times where people I knew kind of were sending me stuff, and I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? You think you're making me feel better with this? And they're like, no, you got to do this and react. And I'm like, you're not helping. You are not helping. The internet is, I don't know if people saw the clip, but there was a town in Kansas who became the home base for Algeria's World Cup team. And, listen, if you're on social, you see all the discourse going on about immigration and this and that. There were a bunch of folks found by news outlets in this Kansas town with deep, deep Southern accents who were genuinely joyful that Algeria had come to town. It made my heart smile at that. And it goes against everything you see on social media. You know why? Because social media is not real. It's not a real thing in terms of intense hate. It's not. And there are young people, young men and women in professional sports who, when they get to a certain level, there is a group of folks around them who, quite frankly, A, have nothing else better to do, and B, believe they need to show you all the negative stuff. It's not helpful. And I'm glad Mitch kind of got out of that. And there are a lot. I'm not just talking about one person in this town. There's a lot of athletes who have cliques like that, and it's destructive. Because there are a ton of Leaf fans, as you saw when he came back, who love Mitch Marner. I wasn't front and center, but there were plenty. You saw them. So just to focus on the people on Twitter saying X, Y, and Z and constantly flooding someone's phone with those links being forwarded, it's not healthy. And A, I'm glad he kind of spoke to it a little bit. B, I'm glad over the last 2 or 3 years he's trying to cut that off, because it leads to nowhere. It leads to absolutely nowhere. Whether you're a professional athlete, whether you're in my business, whether you're in high school, whether you're in college, you're dealing with all kinds of crap. I get it. And it's not easy to just kind of walk away from it. You got to walk away from it, guys. You got to. I don't know how else to say that. I don't know what Mitch's career is like in this city if he would have walked away from some of that. I don't know. I can't answer that. But I think it's important he spoke on that yesterday, because there was a lot of people in this market going, What's that about? Is it a behind-the-scenes thing? Is it a social media thing? Is it like what is just clarification? I'm glad he did. So that's all I would say to that. If you know anyone in your life that's taken a lot of you-know-what and garbage online, like consistently berating them with it is not the play. You're not helping them. You're not. Just cut it out. Because it doesn't reflect real life. Like it doesn't. So just walk away from it. Whether you're in high school, whether you're in college, whether you're in broadcasting, whether you're making $11 million a year playing hockey, it doesn't matter. I understand how it can affect people. I've been on Fox News, guys. I get it. Like, I get it. You got to walk away from it. Now, maybe I'm just weird that way, because I am a little weird too. Certain things don't bother me that would bother other people. But just listen to the back end of kind of what Mitch said there about like his last 2 or 3 years, he's tried to cut that off. And look what he just almost accomplished. Like, think about that for a second. Anyway, I thought it was relevant. Last word to Azzo on this before we go.
Totally right. Dude, we saw the same thing with Trey Savage in the playoffs last year for the Jays.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Kirby Dach had to shut off his socials during this playoff run that the Habs just went on. It's there all the time.
I also didn't.
It's an easy way for people who can hide behind something and just say some really.
But I also didn't agree with how Trey Savage handled it.
No, I agree with that too. I agree with that. I'm just saying it happens to athletes.
It happens every day.
Yeah. Like that's a kid who was on one of the best runs like we've ever seen a guy start with. But it happens all the time. And to your point, it's not just athletes. Happens to teenagers. Happens to us. Like social media has built this fake, where it's supposed to be a place to celebrate stuff, but people use it as an opportunity to just take shots and do stuff.
I 100% agree with it.
Which is crazy.
Again, I agree with you, Azzo. I'm glad Mitch talked about it.
No, for sure.
There's a lot of people in this market who were like really interested in what he had to say.
He used the platform in the right way.
Although, I think he did.
Do we have to mention some of his people have reached out on socials to be?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of opinions on that.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the amount of questions that people in this market had, I'm glad he kind of addressed some of them.
He took the platform and used it properly.
Yes.
I agree with that. I applaud Mitch for that.
Listen, none of us are all saints. I understand that.
Yeah.
But in terms of what he was speaking to specifically, I'm glad he addressed it. I'm just glad he addressed it.
And to people in the chat saying, like, we've taken shots at him or you've taken shots, like, we're judging his performance, what he's getting paid for.
I have.
No, but we're not taking personal shots at him or wishing, bad luck on him, right? It's about judging his performance and what he did for getting paid the money. I
don't apologize for a thing I said about any game 5 or 6 in this inning.
That's all I was trying to say. That's all
Zero.
I'm trying to say.
Zero.
Bang on.
But in terms of, like, being constantly bombarded with that by your core group, you can't be doing that. That will affect you.
We had to talk.
100% that's going to affect. That would affect any of us.
When I started this and getting on stage, like
because you just started taking some stuff recently. Because anyone who's on air takes stuff. That's the way it goes.
Sure.
So how did you handle it?
Well, it was a lot to read because I'd like to go through some comments. I want to engage with some of the people listening and this and that. Some people just want to tell you like how bad you are, how dumb you are, how like just to say it, which is crazy. Look at some of the videos we post. The ones that get the most comments are all negative, just saying you're an idiot or whatever. Like people use it as a platform to just vent out. Well, I don't know what else they're unhappy about, but it's insane.
I do love the folks who, and I got one today. Someone was just like, "You just want engagement, you idiot." I'm like, "Well, thank you for the engagement." Someone like, "Thank you for the comment."
You want to read comments. You want to hear what people's points are, but when they're just on there just to spew and they haven't even watched the clip, it's insane.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, let's end this there.
Oh, boy. You think you heard him yelling in this hour? Wait till this Portugal game
There's a Portugal-Congo game coming up. All right, I wanted to get to Anthony Santander, but we ran out of time. On behalf of Jeff Azzopardi and everyone here at Sick Media, I'm Sid. You've been watching and listening to the Sid Seixeiro Show, powered by Sick Media. We are going to shut off this stream, and we're going to set a new one out in 3 seconds and get ready for a little Portugal-Congo. Talk to you then.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sid Seixeiro Show on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcasts.